Thanks for joining today. As the title of this video states, I photographed fog from my house. Now you might think, well Charles, you must be very lucky to live in a place where fog regularly happens during the winter months. That is far from the truth. I live in suburbia and the only advantage that I have is our street is at the bottom of a hill, so if there is fog, it normally gathers around our area. But I rarely get the chance of getting out of my house to go and photograph fog because Monday to Friday I look after our daughter, make sure she gets to school, and I normally wake up around 7 o'clock, wake the daughter up, start organising her breakfast, my breakfast, her lunch, and the day goes on, drive her to school. On this morning, as I was preparing lunch, I looked out the window, I could see it was very foggy, and I thought like, well, we've had bushfires around our place. Is it just the smoke from the bushfires or is it really fog? Opened the door, walked out onto our veranda, and yes, it was fog. And I go, beauty. The only thing that I could think of to photograph fog was the beautiful trees across the street that had yellow blooms all on them, and they looked beautiful. I quickly raced inside and grabbed my Z6 II. Now most of the time as landscape photographers, when we photograph landscapes, we normally use kit lenses or wide angle lenses. You'd think that I'd be using the Nikon 24 to 85mm lens. Well, on this day, I was using the Nikon 200 to 500mm lens. Now you might say, why would you be using such a heavy lens just to photograph fog? Well, I was planning on going out to photographing birds after I took my daughter to school. My Nikon Z6 II was already connected to the Nikon 200 to 500. I know fog doesn't hang around very much, especially by the time that I was able to get out there and take some photos. And my original plan was only to take one photo, this one here, taken at 7:20 a.m. in the morning at 360 mils, 500th of a second, f5.6, ISO 400. And you can see it looks great. The last time I photographed fog was on this day in August 2000. It was taken at 8:25 a.m. I was at 24 mils, 20th of a second, f16, ISO 50. Perfect settings for photographing fog. So 4 years ago was the last time that I photographed fog. So I took this nice photo of this tree and I was just wrapped thinking like, great, I finally got a photo of fog after waiting for 4 years. I started preparing breakfast, preparing lunch, and then I thought, hang on, how about I take a series of photos to show you how quickly fog rises in the morning. Fog doesn't hang around a long time, especially in suburbia. As soon as the sun starts coming up, fog disappears very quickly. I waited a little bit and I took the second photo at 7:58 a.m. still at 360 mils, 500th of a second, f5.6, ISO 320. And you can already see that it's starting to get a little bit lighter. So I waited a little bit longer and I took the third image at 20 past 8, same focal length, 400th of a second, f5.6. Now the ISO is 250. Why? Because I'm getting more light. There's less fog. I had to reduce the ISO. And you can see the fog is starting to lift. It's just about gone. I have to take my daughter to school at 8:45. So just before we left, I took the last photo at 8:35, 250th of a second, and now the ISO is only 160. And you can see that the background is getting much lighter. Now, if I had thought of it when I came back from taking my daughter to school at around 9:05, I would have taken another photo. And by then, the fog was gone. It was just a normal day. But here, I just want to show you how sometimes you just have to be ready for the unexpected, even if you live in suburbia. Like most of the time, there's parks fairly close, but even from your own house, sometimes you might get the opportunity. So you just have to be ready. And settings really don't come into play. What comes into play is how you edit the photo. This is the big thing. And this is what I also want to show you, because the more you edit a photo that has fog in there, the more you will reduce the impact of the fog. Remember, fog is very soft. The more you edit, the more you add contrast, the more you add dehaze to your image, the less impact the fog will have. I'm going to show you the raw photos and then I will show you how I edited these photos in Adobe Lightroom. Here is the first photo at 7:20 a.m. straight off the camera. This is the second photo. This is the third photo. And this is the fourth photo, taken over a 1 hour and 20 minute period. Now I'm going to show you how I edited the first image, and all the other images were edited exactly the same way. I edited the first photo and just synced the other 3 photos so that the same amount of editing was applied. So you can see here the comparison. On the left, the NEF file with no edit, and on the right, the NEF file edited. And you can see there is not much difference, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Here's a screenshot in Adobe Lightroom. It's not much editing done, and I want to draw your attention where the arrow is pointing. That is the dehaze slider. It's set to 0 because I didn't want to add too much structure to the image. It is a two-edged sword. The more you take it to the right, the sharper your photo will go. If you're photographing in a place and there is a lot of haze around and you want to reduce the haze, then you slide the dehaze slider to the right. If you want to make the image more hazy, softer, then you slide the dehaze slider to the left, and that will make it softer. And the only thing I did was just slightly add a bit of saturation, a bit of vibrance to the image, and a slight amount of contrast. You can see there's another box open down the bottom here, which is the detail. And this section here is selective sharpening. And this is really the only thing that you can use to try to make your foggy image sharper, because you don't want to be touching the background. You don't want to be touching the fog. All you want to be doing is affecting your subject. And here my subject are the flowers and the tree branches. That's all. If you're outside, let's say in a lake, and you had trees in the center of the lake, then you'd only be wanting to add more detail in those trees. So selective sharpening here is perfect for this. This screen here is in black and white, because on a PC, if I use the Alt key and hold the masking slider, everything goes black and white. And what is black is not affected by the selective sharpening. What is white is affected by the selective sharpening, and it is at 79%. It's only the tree branches, only the flowers that are affected. So I've only sharpened the branches and the flowers, and the rest of it I haven't touched. If I had left the masking at 0, it would have sharpened the whole image. So I just want to show that when you have the chance of photographing fog, it doesn't matter where you are. All you need to do is find a subject. Was this a great subject? It looked average, but to me, it was great because I got the chance of photographing something that I love, and that is photographing fog. Even though I was at my own house, I was still able to take photos of this very nice tree. So I hope you can see how easy it is to photograph, and also how easy it is to edit, and not to over edit your fog images, because this is something that I see time and again on social media, that people have gone out to beautiful places, they've taken photos of fog, and they've put too much editing in the image, and the fog has sort of lost its appeal in the photo. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up, stay safe, enjoy your photography, whatever type of photography you do, and I will see you next time.